How do you thrive beyond the labels? Thriving is overseeing these labels we place on humanity, treating with worth and embracing their inner abilities to strive. Basically, bringing out the best of people and looking beyond their diagnosis, knowing their strengths, dreams, and resilience.
I was labeled HIV positive. Then came anal cancer and mental health. Labels stacked on top of each other. But I learned that labels don't define me, they refine me. I thrive by owning my story, not hiding it. Each challenge taught me resilience, compassion, and the power of alignment. Thriving isn't about denying the labels, it's about rising above them, using them as stepping stones, not cages. I'm more than a diagnosis. I'm an example, a survivor, and a warrior. And so are you.
Hello, my name is Hajara from Uganda. We thrive beyond labels by, first of all, self-care, taking care of ourselves, regaining our confidence, and also breaking the barriers in stigma and the stereotypes that are in our communities. Also, lastly, being kind to one another. Thank you.
Stigma is one of the biggest barriers people living with substance use disorder face. It tells them they are less than, when really they are human beings worthy of dignity and care. Harm reduction is how we push back against that stigma. It's not about condoning drug use. It's about keeping people alive and safe. It's naloxone that reverses an overdose. It's clean syringes that prevent HIV and hepatitis C. Most importantly, it's meeting people where they are, without judgment. When we lead with compassion, we save lives. Every life saved is another chance for healing, for recovery, or simply for dignity. Stigma kills, but harm reduction saves lives.
Hi, my name is Max, and I'm a gay male living with HIV who is a recovering drug addict. And I've experienced my fair share of stigma, especially when I disclose being a former addict. We're taught in recovery to inform those who prescribe medication about our addiction issues. But most frequently, this is when I get treated like a person who can't be trusted. Hospitals have acted like I'm a waste of their time and don't deserve the same attention, or worse, no treatment at all. The most powerful thing I can do to thrive and lessen stigma is to share my truth and my story. The more people who speak out about their stigmatized condition, whatever it may be, the more the condition becomes normalized. Only until our stigmatized conditions are normalized will we get to experience life with the same kind of respect and decency as any other human being.
Hi, I work closely with clients living with HIV who face significant challenges in maintaining engagement in care and adhering to their medical regimen. But despite the remarkable advances in HIV treatment, one of our most persistent challenges remain: disclosure. Many individuals living with HIV continue to struggle with sharing their status due to fear of being attacked, victimized, bullied, or shamed. As a result, open and healthy conversations about support systems and available resources are not happening as frequently or as thoroughly as they should. This silence can leave individuals feeling isolated or alone. We must continue to foster safe spaces for dialogue, advocate for stigma reduction, and ensure that every person living with HIV feels empowered to live in their truth without fear. My name is Melvin Fort, and I'm thriving living with HIV.
Hi there, my name is Audrey Mukoro. I am the founder and executive director of Audrey Sickle Cell Foundation and also the South Regional Coordinator for Coalition of Sickle Cell NGOs in Nigeria. So I feel like sickle cell is the most stigmatized, and the reason being that a lot of awareness has not gone into the public about sickle cell. People still think that living with sickle cell is a death sentence, and people still, believe in the myth that says sickle cell warriors are because or stuff like that. I feel like the condition has not had a lot of spotlight on it, and that's the reason why there's a lot of stigma in the society. But going forward, we can help as a body or even join the government to make policies that will help reduce the stigmatization. Thank you very much.
There are various ways I believe you can thrive beyond these labels. One of them is acceptance. Once you accept the fact that you are living with a particular condition or you are living with a particular ailment, that way you can be able to thrive as someone living with whatever condition it is you are living with. Another way you can thrive is to educate yourself. Once you understand your condition, once you understand what it entails, you are able to fight for yourself outside of the stigma that you are experiencing. And the third way I believe you can thrive beyond this label is for you to belong to a community of like minds, people that are going through what you are experiencing, people that can relate to what you are experiencing, and they are able to tell you that, oh, this is how I experience my, and this is what I do to get better. So these three ways can help you thrive beyond whatever label you are living with or whatever condition you are living with.
Stigma can deeply affect people's confidence, relationships, and even willingness to seek help or be open about it because of what they perceive other people will say about them. So, how do we play a role in reducing this stigma? So, we start by actually creating awareness about a certain condition, be it mental health, be it disability, HIV, or whatever condition someone is going through. We start by educating ourselves and other people about a certain condition and how we can deal with it without labeling people who are going through it because it's stigmatizing. Then what else do we do? Let's be respectful. Let's not just come outright and say so and so is going through this. Let's have some empathy. Even when we're talking to someone, even if we're trying to help them open up, let's have some little bit of empathy that makes someone feel heard and seen if they ever want to talk about something that they feel they are scared to talk about. Let's try to keep the little just open so that someone feels that even though they talk about it, they are welcome. They are not going to be cut off. And then finally, can we create spaces where people feel safe to share their experiences without fear and judgment? And then also the stereotypes. Let's always challenge stereotypes. It's one of the things that is always there. And we're not going to put them away. But if we challenge them, then the way we challenge them, even sometimes it's a way of educating people. When we keep quiet, it's like we are supporting something indirectly.
Hi, I live with sickle cell, and one of my stigma experiences I've had was while on admission, a matron came in and she went, "Why are you here again? Do you want to kill your father?" And I was in pain, and I looked at her and I was like, "Ma'am, I'm in pain, yeah, I need to see a doctor." And she went, "I know you want to see a doctor, but do you want to kill your father? Why are you here again?" And the tears just kept coming down. Like, I could not believe that a matron would say that I want to kill my father because I was on admission. I was a sickle cell. I'm living with sickle cell, and you're telling me I want to kill my father. For years, I didn't go back to the hospital, and I kept away. But now,
Hi, my name is Chiri from Uganda, and I'm here to answer the question of how to lessen stigma for others. And I would go with talking about mental health openly without leaving anything undone, because the more information we have, the more we are able to understand what stigma is, how to go about stigma, who to talk to, when to talk to them, and all that. And I would also say that supporting each other, supporting your friends, showing up for them, calling them, checking on them, because that little call actually means something to people out here. So yeah, thank you, bye.
What do you think is currently the most stigmatized condition and why? The most stigmatized condition, in my opinion, is mental illness. People often criticize others, believing they are faking their diagnosis or shaming them for being different. For example, a person with schizophrenia is assumed to be crazy or violent towards the community, but they are misinterpreted. Many do not comprehend the biological and psychological roots of mental conditions.
Hi, the question of what do you think is currently most stigmatized condition and why? We have a lot of stigmatized conditions, but I'll take the main, which is AIDS. Yeah. And I'll say in Uganda, we are having high HIV infection every day, and people mostly hard to reach areas have no awareness of HIV, and this will bring the HIV negative people to start calling the positive people to be okay, to be taken as scary, to be taken as they are chronicles, to be called different titles like maybe the walking dead, which is not good and right. Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Hello, I am Adibi Peter. I'm a sickle cell warrior, and I'll be answering the question: how do you thrive beyond the label? Okay, so thriving beyond the label is usually not easy, especially in communities where the knowledge regarding the condition is very low. Okay, so one way I thrive beyond the label is finding purpose even in the pain. And how do I do this? I believe God has created me to actually help others with the condition. So I educate over 190 people about the condition weekly. And I also advocate for people living with the condition. So I guess with this, day by day, as long as the knowledge regarding this condition increase, the labels will resolve. Thank you.
Personally, I feel the most currently stigmatized condition is sickle cell anemia, especially in African countries and in Black communities. How do I know all these things? Because I live with sickle cell myself. When people get to know me, they treat me normally. As soon as they get to know that I live with sickle cell, everything changes. Then the stigmatization comes in. A few months ago, something happened while I was in school. I was away for some time because I had crisis and all of that. The department got to know about my condition. Prior to that, everyone have treated me normally. So something happened. There was an open class, and we're supposed to make our opinions known. I stood up and made my opinion known. Then someone stood up and said, even if everyone is making their opinion known, is this supposed to be somebody like Chuku Joy? I was like, what happened to Chuku Joy? Am I less of a human because I live with sickle cell or something? Like, it's just there.
My name is Wamba Mary. I live in Abuja, Nigeria. Talking about stigmatization in sickle cell, I remember the job I did 2015. When I resumed, I went to the manager and I look at my health status. I'm explaining this to you just in case there is an emergency, I didn't come to work, but sometimes it doesn't give you a sign and it will just happen. She said, okay, no problem. One day I had severe crisis midnight. I sent a message, please, I couldn't come to work. She said she's giving me maximum of 1 hour to be in the office. I managed myself and went to work like that. She told me, you are here and you're saying you're not feeling fine. But anybody who understand, looking at me, you know I'm going through severe pain. I couldn't hold it, I have to go home. Do you know that month she might not stay for my salary? Another time I was admitted in the hospital. I sent a message, she didn't reply. I called, she busied my line. So I called one of my colleagues to help me inform her, look at the situation on ground, and I'm in the hospital. She and the manager and some of my colleagues came to the hospital to see me. My state at that moment, if you see me, my family were even worried about the situation. You know, a situation where you see someone, you are even worried if the person will survive it. I spent roughly 2 weeks plus in the hospital. Do you know when I resumed? They minused it for my salary. I have never been enslaved and maltreated like that office. I was forced to resign on my own for my peace because every month my salary is deducted. Every month. And I don't take excuses except on my health issues. So tell me, is this not too much?
Hi there, my name is Audrey Mukoro. I am the founder and executive director, Audrey Sickle Cell Foundation, and the South South Regional Head for Coalition of Sickle Cell NGOs in Nigeria. And so, how I rose above the labels placed on me by society, I started living my truths. I accepted my reality. I had a good support system. Talking about family, I had a good support system, a good background. Then I also tried to create community, a safe space for warriors to thrive, to talk about their experiences and complications without feeling judged. I also tried to educate people as much as I could in private and public places. And I also advocated for people who live with sickle cell disorder via my organization. And these were the little things I did that has helped me rise above the labels in the society. Thank you.
My name is Peter Ashikoy. I'm a genetic counselor from Nigeria. I believe sickle cell remains the most stigmatized condition across the world. And to move beyond stigma, I believe that we need conversations that make it right. We need empathy and we need the willingness to learn about sickle cell. Because in a situation where you feel stigmatized, you need to remember that empathy is the way forward. Without empathy, without education, the right education that has the right information, you can't move beyond stigma. And knowing yourself, building your self esteem, building your own knowledge about sickle cell helps you to rise against stigma and also helps you to live and thrive with sickle cell. Thank you.
Fellow Adejini Adeyemi here, a registered nurse in Nigeria who lives with a chronic illness, sickle cell disorder in particular. Over time, across milestones have had to deal with labels. Particularly in 2021, I was labeled a drug seeker, drug addict, a frequent flyer. What I have done over time to lessen stigma for others is to help educate the masses about what sickle cell disease is about. I also try to care for my patients with empathy and as well as encourage my colleagues to do the same. When I see such terms being used, I speak up about such terms being used and I more or less like I explain in detail why such terms shouldn't be used. One other thing I also do is I volunteer in support groups and speak or share my experiences.
Hi, my name is Abayomi Oyelami, and I live in Nigeria. I'm a sickle cell warrior, an advocate, and a genetic counselor. I live in a country where you can be stigmatized for virtually anything. You are thin, you are fat, you are rich, you are poor, you are whatever. You can be stigmatized on the basis of anything. And that is why I've learned to build resilience, to build capacity against societal limitations, against societal pressures, and against societal stigma that comes with living with sickle cell. I realized that my story is not just about the gloom, it's not just about the doom, it's about all the booms, the wins, and the triumphs that I go through. And so, whenever I encounter situations like that, I take it to my mind and I remind myself of all the successes and of all the victories I've experienced living with sickle cell. And I encourage you to do yours too. Remember your triumphs, remember your victories. It is not just about the troubles, it is not just about the pains. Enjoy.
What can you do to lessen stigma for others? Lessening stigma includes educating, respecting, and being compassionate. Avoid terminology that can create stereotypes such as crazy or dumb. Encourage others to join support groups and trauma-informed care, and colleagues to become great advocates.